Welcome back to the Play by Play podcast YouTube channel, where today we are here with a interesting video, one that I never thought that I would really make, and a sport that I never really thought that I would cover. Well, it is technically a sport that I cover, but a side of the sport that I never thought that I would really cover, and that is the WNBA. I had previously, about a year ago, very close to around this time of year, had previously made a video about the WNBA. I remember I talked about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and their Rookie of the Year race, and why I felt at the time that Angel Reese was more deserving. And that was one of the very few videos, especially early on for me, that did a little bit better. And I think that really does show how far the WNBA has really come, especially with the introduction of these new stars like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. They have brought just so much big time attention to women's basketball. And to be honest, that's an amazing thing all around for basketball, for women overall. It is a sport that I think should be getting, big time national coverage. I'm not a huge follower of it. I don't watch every single game. I tend to pop in here and there and kind of just check out what is going on. But I will say that on occasion, when you do pop into these games, that they are very, very entertaining. They are very competitive. And at times, I do believe that they are much more entertaining than regular basketball. In the men's game, I think that they are a lot more fundamental. I think that they play a lot harder defense. I think that there's a lot more strategy involved, especially when you have certain teams that are a lot smaller than a lot of these bigger teams. And I think that a lot of these stars that are within the NBA have a bigger platform to be able to go out and shine, because I think that there is just a bigger talent gap between the top stars in the league and more of the lower role players and whatnot. But with that attention that has been brought to the WNBA, there are some negatives that come with that, which brings us to the source of this video. And, as much as I do enjoy and love the attention that they're getting, I do think that comes with some consequences at the end of the day. And I think some of those certain consequences have been because there is such a big light. I think that teams have become much more motivated at wanting to be successful within this league, which you might say, why is that a bad thing? It's a bad thing because I think that they are more prone to make very quick and at times very quick moves that almost make absolutely no sense, like what happened today. So what is the big time announcement? It is that Sandy Brondello, the head coach of the New York Liberty, will not be getting her contract renewed by the Liberty following this season. Now, when I first saw this, again, I'm not an avid follower of the sport, so I decided to kind of look up Sandy Brondello and just kind of do a little bit of research on her. And this might be one of the best coaches in the WNBA's history. This might be one of the best just overall people within the space of the WNBA. She was a player within both the WNBA and the Women's National Basketball League, which was kind of the precursor to the WNBA for 5 years. She then joined in with the WNBA as a coach back in 2005, and since then has been coaching for over 20 years. She's a two-time WNBA champion, WNBA Coach of the Year, WNBA All-Star Coach. She is also the leading head coach for the Australian women's national basketball team, where she has helped represent them in previous Olympic Games and World Cup, including a bronze medal in the 2024 Paris Olympics. But to go even further within that, her coaching record is amazing. I mean, since her debut back in 2010 with the previously known San Antonio Stars, let me just go over what her track record is. So she has coached, like I said, 2010, 2014, 2015, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. She's coached 13 years in the league. She has debuted 13 times within the playoffs. And when you look at it, lost in the Western Conference semifinals, won the WNBA finals, lost in the Western Conference finals, then 3 straight years of losing once again in the semifinals, lost in the first round, lost in the second round, lost in the WNBA finals, lost in the first round, lost in the WNBA finals, won the WNBA finals this previous season, then this current season losing within the first round. She has made it to 4 total WNBA finals and has won 2 championships out of that, including with the New York Liberty. She made it to back-to-back WNBA finals. So I was wondering and really questioning, where did this firing really come from for her? Not necessarily firing, but this mutual departure for her. Where did this really come from? And really looking through it, there wasn't really a lot of big time reasoning behind them not really extending her. The big time reasoning that I saw was the fact that the Liberty lost within the first round of the playoffs this year. And this was a Liberty team that, by the way, has been, absolutely debilitated by big time injuries here, especially to their stars like Sabrina Ionesco and Brianna Stewart all throughout the season. This was virtually the same WNBA defending champion team from last year. It was virtually the same team this year who were still able to make it to the playoffs and be in a competitive series to lose within the first round with all of their injuries. So why are we firing her? I really do not understand why we are departing, not firing. I apologize that I keep saying that, but splitting ways with her. What is that for? Even if you lost within the first round this year, why can you not see this out? And this is the big problem that I see within the WNBA is that teams with so much of the attention, they're trying to be at the top of the league every single year. And because of that, they're going to make these big time and very, very quick moves. And I don't think that for the New York Liberty within the long term, that this is going to end up being beneficial for them. And for WNBA teams in general, we have seen, even just in regular basketball, even in college sports, even, being as a guy who played high school basketball, when you have inconsistent leadership, when you have inconsistent coaching, when you're having different perspectives coming in every single year, that can debilitate you and your roster and the way that they play. And certain coaches might not have as great of a fit. And seeing as the experience that she has, seeing as the fact of the track record that she has, seeing as the fact that the past 2 years prior to this year, you had made it all the way to the final game of the year, I just don't understand why we're going away. And it reminds me almost of a situation that we saw just a year ago with the Chicago Sky's former head coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, who they all of a sudden ended up firing after a pretty average season at best. If you look at Teresa Weatherspoon, again, played a little bit as a player for 7 total years within the WNBA, 6 years with the New York Liberty, 1 year with the Sparks. Then as a coach comes in 2007 overseas and starts coaching Westchester, and then going through there was an assistant coach for the New Orleans Pelicans at the NBA type level for 3 total years, and then is finally able to go in and get a head coaching job with the Chicago Sky in 2024. And yes, I understand that compared to Sandy Brondello, it was a little bit different of a situation, right? She didn't have nearly as successful of a season as Sandy did, going only 13-27 and missing out on the playoffs. Yes, there were a lot of big-time rumors that she did cause a little bit of friction within the locker room because she favored her rookies in, I believe it was Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. But, I understand how some players could become frustrated with that. But why is that necessarily a bad thing for a head coach to prioritize your rookies? 2 rookies who, mind you, are probably 2 of the most talented players on that roster coming into their rookie year. A player in Angel Reese who, no matter how you want to dispute how she gets her statistics, is a double-double machine. And Camila Cardoso, while she was very, very inconsistent when it came to, things like field goal percentage and whatnot in her rookie year, those 2 together, they are a dynamic big-time duo. Why would you not want to build around the young stars that you cashed in on? And why would you not, as a head coach, want to favor them and put them in their best situation to succeed, simply based on the fact that they are probably 2 of the most talented players on your squad? I just don't understand it. And that is part of the reason why the head coach that the Chicago Sky decided to hire within her place has done even worse than her. He only won 10 games this year. He's doing absolutely worse because he doesn't have the credentials. He didn't have the same idea. And ultimately, it was a knee-jerk reaction to what you felt was a bad season. And you had 2 big-time stars that you wanted to elevate and put at the top of the game. Again, I'm not saying that wanting to compete immediately and wanting to be at the top of your game is a bad thing. But what I am saying is the attention that the league is getting is making these teams make very quick knee-jerk, and ultimately what is going to be long-term negative choices for their franchise. And that is all that I have for you guys today. A very, very quick episode. Just speaking my opinion on this situation because I wanted to get this out. I felt that it was really, really important. Really quick, before we get to the end of the episode, I want to encourage you guys to go down below, subscribe, leave a like, comment, and share with your friends all about this video, as well as follow us on all social medias, that being TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those ads are going to be down below within the description. We're on all of those social medias. You'll get to see my latest reaction to breaking news within the NBA, the NFL, and within combat sports. And you will never miss for whenever the podcast decides to upload an episode. And without further ado, guys, that's all that I have for you guys today. I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great rest of your week, and peace.